Disclaimers: I do not have any actual beef with anyone mentioned in the video. Please do not harass or send hate to anyone mentioned. This video and the hybrid or hybrids are purely made for entertainment purposes. With all that out of the way, let's get to the video. Hello guys, this is Cooldinos and welcome back to another great hybrid war video. A while ago, when Goji Center's first Great Hybrid War was ongoing earlier last year, a fellow YouTuber named ZainReborn 2 had created a bird that some of you that know about the Great Hybrid Wars may be familiar with, named Maddie. She made it in 9th place into the honorable mentions. He would soon create a brand new pterosaur named Valt, which he tweaked his genome a bit after his introductory video, and tweaked the original genome of Maddie to create her sister, Maggie. With these two new hybrids, he would herald a new age of hybrids, a brand new challenge, the Sky Hybrid Wars, or what many people would like to call the Skybrid Wars. When I first saw the video announcing the Skybrid Wars were starting by the very creator that made Maddie and another hybrid named Kamikaze, a colossal squid hybrid meant to challenge Vex, I was really excited and was motivated to create something new. The skies, up to this point, had been largely unexplored on my channel, so I decided to create a hybrid of my own for this fun challenge. It took me a bit to figure out how to go about the initial concepts and finally complete it, but once I did, I figured it would do. And don't worry, I submitted it a while ago. Also, the competition had a few rules in place which will be listed on the screen. You can pause if you need to. Today, I will showcase all of the genetic contributors that make up this brand new hybrid of mine, as well as showcase the true purpose for this creation. Before we continue, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on any content I make. It is free and it really helps the channel greatly. Without further ado, let's get right to it. The first contributor, or the primary base as you guys could guess, is Pteranodon, specifically P. longiceps, a toothless beaked pterosaur. This famous and iconic flying reptile serves as the base for this flying hybrid, as well as provides some semi-aquatic habits and lifestyle, to an extent, and being able to soar in the sky for long periods of time, like some oceanic birds today. And of course, how could I forget, the crest of this Pteranodon species is applied. The second contributor in the genome looks similar to Pteranodon, but I assure you it is quite different. Meet Ludodactylus, an anhangerid pterosaur that developed a weirdly similar crest feature to Pteranodon. This pterosaur will provide the sharp teeth to the mandibles, and even at the length of the upper and lower beak or jaws. Additionally, there will be alterations to the beak so it could properly develop and fit the teeth roots in the jaws, resulting in it to be more similar to anhangerid pterosaurs. The third genetic contributor that is next up is Kumpengopterus, or the monkey dactyl as it's dubbed. Some of you may be wondering why it is nicknamed that, and for that I'll explain why and give a bit of context. There are two species of this Wukongopterid pterosaur in the genus, K. sinensis, the type species, and the more famous species K. antipolycatus, with the latter actually being confirmed to have a true opposable thumb, or pollex. This is the earliest species known to have developed or evolved a true opposable thumb, hence its species name. Because of this trait, I will be adding the development of opposable thumbs into the genome, as it will allow the pterosaur to now not only grip and manipulate objects, but also be able to climb on trees and rocks, for example. The next animal in the genome, and the last pterosaur, belongs to a rather unusual group of pterosaurs, the Aneurgnathids. The one I had used in genome here is Geholopterus, the largest known member of the family, even though they are really tiny. This small pterosaur will provide a broader wing membrane in order to execute sharper and more precise aerial turns when need be, which surprisingly works in congruence with the sixth contributor, I hope. However, it is to the extent where it doesn't interfere with the hybrid's soaring capabilities. The fifth animal that I'll talk about is the osprey. Oh man, This and the sixth contributor have a lot to go over. So I'll talk about some of its more notable traits that they provide in the genome for each of them. The osprey largely contributes in bolstering the ability to submerge in water, as this bird of prey is one of the only few, if not the only, bird of prey to fully do so. The feet of the osprey, with its unique zygodactyl feet for a bird of prey, combined with its spiked feet pads as well as its talons, are also applied to the pterosaur for a more efficient grip. Additionally, it will have bolstered endurance and have stronger leg muscles so it could walk and run on the ground better and take off from the ground faster and more efficiently. Oh, okay, that's the osprey. Now to the sixth contributor, the common raven. This bird contributes to the overall enhanced intelligence of the hybrid, as corvids have been known to have great problem-solving capabilities, learn quickly, and cooperate with their mates and other related individuals. They can also utilize voice and sound mimicry. Keep this detail in mind for later. They also contribute to a bolstered immune system, ability to perform aerial maneuvers midair, ability to fly and navigate quite well through turbulent conditions, and having the stronger neck muscles to back this up as well. Okay, now we are in the final stretch, the last two contributors. The seventh animal in the genome is the vampire bat. Unlike the last time where I used vampire bat for iron redistribution for David, I am not going to do that at all. You see, despite what was advertised or claimed in the hybrid wars, vampire bats actually distribute iron by excreting it. Why? The diet of these bats is blood, and iron makes up approximately 70% of the blood content that they drink with each drop, if I remember correctly, which means that they accumulate so much iron in their bodies. This would probably kill a person if they drink only blood for the long term. However, they have a neat solution, which is to direct this iron to their waist, so this way they don't get iron poisoning. Now, the reason why I even have the vampire bat in the genome is because of two reasons. The first being that our pterosaur's ability to gallop would be further enhanced, I think, as well as being able to climb onto more vertical surfaces more efficiently with the necessary adaptations. And this last trait actually translates well with Kumpengopterus. Now, the eighth and last contributor is what I wanted to keep as a surprise, and it's going to shock you. It's the Bruno's cascaded frog. Now, I know you may all be wondering if it will cause issues in my hybrid, like congruence issues, biological errors, behavioral issues, etc. And to answer this, and to make sure you guys are not worried, not quite. Let me explain. I won't exactly be adding amphibious skin, as it will cause severe issues with my pterosaur. However, this particular frog species, along with one other frog out there, have a defense mechanism for their heads. They have tiny bony venomous spines that inject a highly potent venom, and this exact venom is comparable to certain pit vipers. In fact, it is 25 times more lethal than that of some Brazilian pit vipers. Yes, these frogs produce their own venom. This suggestion was actually made by Hirfalui on Discord. Thank you so much for that. Really. This trait is the sole reason why I decided to implement this frog into the genome, adding the tiny venomous spines on the head, and to maybe possibly use the head as a ramming tool. Maybe. Using all the traits from these contributors together, I present to each and all of you guys the freshwater pteranodon mimic. The two assets shown above are Spitfire, the male, and Canary, the female. The stats of both males and females are shown. Now the congruency test. 6 out of 8 contributors are of Archosaur ancestry, 7 out of 8 utilize powered flight, 4 out of 8, or half, are pterosaurs, and a quarter, or 2/8, are avian dinosaurs. Now, I would say this is a very good hybrid on its own, in my opinion. However, like all of my previous hybrid creations to this point, I'll get to the nitty-gritty and point out a few potential flaws. Firstly, the use of the venomous spines on the head from the frog may or may not be conflicting, aside from a few scenarios, as normal pterosaur skulls are typically fragile. I did use at least one bird for a stronger and sturdier neck, but even then, it doesn't fix the problem with hollow bones being fragile, which hollow bones are one adaptation to be able to take flight. Another glaring flaw that I could see, despite the pterosaur having talons from the osprey, it may not be able to use those during aerial combat. You see, unlike birds where they can use their hind limbs while flying, they don't have to use all four limbs for flight, such as eagles, hawks, falcons, among a variety of other birds. Pterosaurs use not just their arms, but also their legs to generate lift and thus take flight. They share a similar flight methodology to bats. I don't know why I didn't use something like a monkey or an ape in the genome to at least mitigate this issue, but I don't know. Overall, however, this was a fun hybrid that I created, and the first flying hybrid that I ever truly created. There's a chance I'll make another species of this in the future as well. Now, as of a team name, since this was required for these Skybird Wars, I decided to call this pair Team Braveheart, and their individual names are especially inspired off of real-world planes, with the male, Spitfire, being inspired by the British Supermarine Spitfire planes, and the female, Canary, being inspired by Amelia Earhart's 25th birthday gift, a yellow prototype Kinner Airster that she nicknamed the Canary. Now, where would they go in the zone where the competition is occurring? These pterosaurs, due to their more freshwater lifestyle, as the name suggests, will probably fly over and nest somewhere in the forests, although they could still hunt out in the open waters that are not too far away. Now, you may be wondering if my hybrid will fight Team Mimic. In other words, whether they'll be allies or enemies in their encounters. Now, there's a chance that they could fight if things go really wrong. However, the intent behind this team is to not be enemies, but rather, in fact, allies. One of the reasons why this is the more ideal and probable case is due to the Raven DNA. The pterosaurs could attempt to communicate with Valt and Maggie thanks to the corvid in its genome, as of mimicking sounds and using voice lines like Zain's creations that would require extensive training for the pterosaurs, and they would be more than likely to hang out with them, considering they are a social species. Overall though, I had a lot of fun making this species. Hold on, I'm getting a radio transmission. 1 second. Hello? What? Impossible! A security breach? How? What escaped? Ah, I see. I'm busy at the moment, but I should not take long. Get me a report. Figure out if one of the assets that broke free have a tracker in them, and track their flight path. I need to know where they are headed as soon as possible. My boss is not going to like this at all. Anyways, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the latest creation showcased on my channel. If you guys want to see more Hybrid War content, as well as more types of content that I post on my channel, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye everyone!